The North Western Railway had to use a new sort of coal, and they made a lot of ash, and it had given the engines pain in their smoke boxes. Early one morning, the Fat Controller came to see Rosie. That afternoon, Rosie was coupled to James and his slow goods. The train was to stop at Crovan's Gate, so Rosie could get uncoupled and be pulled by a diesel to the works. Rosie did her best to help James get his train over the hill. But James spoke too soon. As they approached Marin, something broke off Rosie and hit the station. Something bounced off of James's boiler. They stopped the train, and Rosie's driver looked over her for the problem. It wasn't long till they found it. James shunted Rosie into a siding and went back onto the train. About an hour later, the works diesel arrived to take Rosie to the works. With that, they pulled away. A few days had passed, and Rosie started to find life tiresome in the works. The men worked hard to make her better, but it felt like forever. At last, when she had passed the test to see if she was mended properly, the men came to repaint her. But when Rosie saw the pots, she saw something completely different. The men laughed and continued to paint Rosie. The next morning, Rosie's driver came. Her fireman raised steam as fast as she could, and Rosie, blushing with embarrassment, headed off for Knapford. When she arrived, the Fat Controller was pleased to see Rosie. But Rosie did worry, and too soon for her. It was time for her to push the heavy train. Diesel and his heavy train were heavy, and Rosie felt the weight of the train as she pushed it. But they were in trouble before that. As they approached Wellsworth, the brakes of the brake van slipped on, and they had to stop and uncouple the train. To make matters worse, Philip, who should have been there to help, was busy somewhere else, so Rosie had to push the brake van onto the siding herself. And, without Philip or Edward, there was no one to help her push the train and diesel up the hill. Rosie snorted. She didn't feel happy about what American people would say about her new paint. The men at the works in her country had mended her well, and her driver gave her a good start as he could. It was hard going, but now Rosie felt fired with determination. Slowly, Rosie struggled up the hill. Then suddenly, there it was. After that, it was much easier, and they reached Vickerstown 2 minutes early. The Fat Controller who had been at the station came to congratulate Rosie. Which, of course, is just what Rosie got. And when she was announced the new pilot of Vickerstown, everyone cheered for Rosie the Red Engine.